What were the best movies of 2025? Anthony and I both compiled our own top 10 lists. Let's break them down in this episode of Raiders of the Lost Podcast.
What's up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost Podcast. You know us, the ultimate film and TV podcast.
Ultimate!
We had a pretty good year for movies.
It was a good bounce
years.
back, you know?
Definitely a bounce back.
Every year's been a little better since COVID, I think.
I gotta say, I have a handful of great films, but there were a lot of just good films this year.
Yeah.
It was pretty deep in terms of consistency and just sheer number of solid movies, way more than last year and the year before, I would say.
I totally agree. And, you know, we had some standouts for sure. I think we have a couple of all-timers on this list of 2025. I think there's 3 movies that will really be timeless. They'll live on top 100, top 200 movie lists of all time, potentially, going forward. So I think we're very lucky that 3 borderline masterpieces came out this year, as well as one of the most exciting action films since Top Gun Maverick came out. Horror was huge this year. There are some movies that I think were terrific that underperformed at the box office, which lost a lot of recognition for them in general with audiences and the critics coming up with awards. But overall, a really healthy year. I mean, you look at movies, streamers like Apple and Netflix had bangers this year. Netflix had a great slate of new releases this year, and they'll have movies that are contending for Oscars. Not that it's the first time it's ever happened, but hasn't happened in a while with this many films. Apple as well, they're probably going to take home an Oscar or 2 potentially. But I was really impressed with studios this year, and a year that's been really shadowed by massive studio deals. Obviously, Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers. There's a lot of uncertainty coming forward in the next few years with cinema. But I think that 2025, it'll be a good year to look back on, to see that a lot of really good original films got made and performed well.
Now, we both made our top 10 list this year. I will say I've not seen everything yet. We've been, bouncing around, traveled a lot the past month, especially you and I. So we haven't been have so much access to seeing films in theaters.
No Other Choice is a movie that
Yes.
neither of us had a chance to see yet.
Yes.
It's not released publicly in America. I didn't see it at a festival. So that, I think, would probably be my top 10, but that will be the glaring movie that's not in our lists.
And I haven't personally had a chance to see Hamnet. I know you have. I'm not sure if it's on your list or not. But
Maybe.
those are 2 movies that I haven't seen that I have high hopes for. We did actually quite a bit of traveling the last 4 weeks.
We get it, Anthony. You're busy.
But
I'm busy. It was
I'll
the
get to it.
holidays. We're
I'll get to it.
traveling.
But I do have a great list of films, I think.
All right, well, why don't we take it away? We each have our own lists of the best of 2025. We'll start at number 10. Anthony, take it away.
This one is the second most recent film I've seen on this list, and that's Sentimental Value from Joachim Trier. Fantastic film, starring an amazing cast of characters. It's about this estranged family, these 2 daughters who were estranged from their father, Stellan Skarsgård, who is a famous filmmaker who basically has been out of their lives for most of their childhood, and now he's coming back trying to rekindle their relationships. He's written a role for a new film, which he hopes his eldest daughter will star in, but their relationship has been torn apart that she wants nothing to do with it. Elle Fanning ends up being a character who's a famous movie star that he puts in the role instead, but things don't quite work out. This is a really tender, heartfelt film. The acting is phenomenal. The Trier's directing is top-notch. It's really simple and elegant, and it's a really great drama. I loved it. I loved the cast. I loved the filmmaking. Sentimental Value, if you've not seen it, is a really spectacular movie.
Great pick at number 10
you.
over there, Anthony. I like that. I like that pick. My number 10 is actually a Netflix release from Black Bear Picks, director Clint Bentley, with Train Dreams. I thought this movie was sensational. I can see it definitely possibly winning Best Cinematography, too. It was so well photographed and well shot. And it's a really beautiful story starring Joel Edgerton as a man who's really just doing his best. It's the turn of the 20th century. A guy who's worked with his hands his whole life, from building railroads to chopping down lumber and trees and doing everything you can do to make money in a world where there aren't that many jobs. And the Industrial Revolution's occurring. The world is changing really rapidly, but he's just doing his best to do what he can to keep food on the table, to support his family. Really great supporting cast as well. Carrie Condon's fantastic in the limited screen time she has in this movie. She's awesome. William H. Macy is terrific in this as well. Felicity Jones plays his wife in this movie. I think it was really just a special film because it's really a poignant look at what a simple man's life is like. He's not changing the world. He's not a heroic man just like beating a bad guy. He's just trying to do the best he can, which sometimes is all you can do and sometimes tells the best story that way. I thought it was really tender, using your word from earlier. It was very sweet. It was very dramatic and intense at times.
Yeah.
It gets dark. But overall, I left the film just feeling so much inspiration for the art of filmmaking. And I think that Black Bear Picks is a really exciting production company to keep an eye on. They had some great releases this year. Train Dreams, Christie are a couple. Christie almost made my top 10. That was a really good movie, guys, and I recommend watching it if you can. I know it got a lot of flack because of all the stuff, but Christie was fantastic, but it didn't make my top 10. Train Dreams did.
And seeing it in the theaters was really phenomenal. It's a beautiful, gorgeous film. They did an amazing job photographing that. At number 9, my pick is Weapons, which was possibly the most entertaining film of the year. It was ridiculous. It was funny. It was absurd. Great filmmaking, good scares, a phenomenal villain that's going to be a landmark and remembered forever in the horror genre. I think that Zach Kreger wrote a really fun script. The actors are all phenomenal. I love how deep the film is, how complex it is. And I like his camera work a lot. He knows how to set scenes up, and his blocking's great. And I think he's onto something. And I can't wait to see what he does with Resident Evil. But man, this is a movie where I had no idea where it was going. It was completely unpredictable, unhinged, and I really enjoyed the experience in theaters.
Did you look at my list? Because I also have Weapons at number 9 as well. Nice. Zach Kreger, really exciting emerging voice in horror. Obviously, Barbarian was a really big hit. People really enjoyed that movie, but Weapons is fantastic. I love the nonlinear story structure. I love the plot overall. We did a great episode breaking it down, so watch that for a really in-depth analysis of the film. But Kreger's really exciting, and to just counter off the camera work, I think he gets really exciting shots. The way he moves the camera is almost Spielberg Spielberg-esque sometimes in terms of starting a scene one way and getting multiple shots in your entire sequence with that one camera move. I think it's a lot of fun when he's playing around with the camera. I love the characters. It was really well marketed too. You know, marketing was big this year for specific films like Marty Supreme, Weapons. Begonia had pretty good marketing too, where you're just doing something different. And Weapons had a really brilliant, mysterious marketing campaign where everyone was so curious to find out what the hell is going on with these missing children. They're doing like the Naruto run, running through buildings and through neighborhoods. It was clever. It was sharp. It was exciting. And like I said, like Anthony said, it's really entertaining. And I had a great time. The gore was fantastic. All around ensemble cast really brought it. Everyone held their own. Josh Brolin, I think, is amazing in everything he does. But I love the film. It's fantastic.
It was the film filled with the most mystery about it for audiences.
Sure.
Everybody was very just curious, like, what is this?
Number 8, Anthony, let's go.
Ari Aster and his film Eddington, I thought, was just, you know, a punch in the face and so outlandish and fun and extremely authentic and raw. And I really enjoyed it, and I liked it even more after the fact. And it's a movie that I thought about, and you know, the further away from I am, the more I like it.
Have you rewatched it since the first time you saw it?
I've not rewatched it, no.
I rewatched it on a plane a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. I think this holds up with a high rewatch value, and it was so crazy and absurd, but I really love his filmmaking style. I love this cast. It was the best depiction of the lockdowns that I've ever seen on film. He really nailed it. He nailed the tension and the stakes and conflict and the mistrust and the insanity that everybody was dealing with themselves and in public and the crazy communities we joined and the turning against each other. I think he just nailed everything that everybody was experiencing on the entire spectrum, and it led to this really just insane third act that was just so bombastic and insane and absurd and just like honestly just a really fun time. I found this to be really hilarious too, and overall, it was just a fantastic movie.
Eddington almost made my top 10. It was pretty close, but I'm glad I didn't put it in because we gotta have different lists.
Yeah,
we gotta have a little variety.
We're different,
in
guys.
this episode. Yeah, we're
different
different. We
people,
look
guys.
alike.
We're different.
We are different. Number 8 for me, I had a movie that I think maybe a lot of people probably forgot came out. An excellent war film, Warfare, from Alex Garland, co-directing. I think this movie was fantastic. The sound design was amazing, and I don't know if it'll get any recognition at the awards, but if it does, sound design, I would lock that in. It was superb. The pacing was excellent. The action was visceral. It's an anti-war film, even though a lot of people think it's propaganda. I saw ridiculous reviews everywhere calling it propaganda. It's not propaganda at all. If you watch the full movie, it clearly isn't propaganda. The cast, I think, I have one note on the movie. Everyone's too young and hot. These are SEALs. Navy SEALs are they don't all have to be massive looking dudes, but Navy SEALs are tough looking motherfuckers a lot of the time. Scary guys. But it's all good. We got a bunch
They're steamy SEALs.
We got a bunch of handsome British actors in this movie. Joseph Quinn is excellent in this movie. The whole cast is terrific. It has great twists, shocking moments of hysteria, of chaos, and you take characters who have immense firepower and you put them in a situation where they become inferior to the opposing force. Was really exciting. It's almost a fish out of water, kind of, but I think the power dynamic worked really well with the forces, and I think the directing was stellar. Fantastic special effects, and I thought it was overall just one of my favorites on the year.
Almost made my list too. Almost. It was this close. I thought it was fantastic too. Next up at number 7, I have Is This Thing On from Bradley Cooper, which I'm sure not everybody has seen quite yet, as it's just rolling out its release. It's opened in limited release in theaters so far, but will come to Netflix very soon. This was the best relationship film of the year. This was a movie about Will Arnett's character and Laura Dern's character. They're going through a divorce. They have a couple of kids. And as he's going through this divorce, Will Arnett decides, kind of on a whim, to just start doing stand-up comedy. First as a way to get into a bar, because he had no money and he wanted a drink. The sign said, you can drink for free if you perform. So that's why he started doing it, because he needed a drink. He had no money on him. And then he just got up on stage and started being funny. And then he starts really investing in honing the craft of stand-up comedy while dealing with how do you separate from your wife while keeping your kids happy, and what's that look like. It was really great. He and Laura Dern are really fantastic together. It's a great New York movie. Bradley Cooper directed it so well. It's a great camera work, but also he's so funny in it himself. He has this great role as a friend character who's just like ridiculous comedic relief, but everything he says is ridiculous and so funny, and I loved his performance as well as his directing in the film. It's got a lot of heart, but also it's extremely accurate for breakups, extremely accurate for relationships that have difficulties, and how do you work through that? Is it worth fighting for this? I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was so fun, heartfelt, made me cry, made me laugh. It was really authentic.
Love to hear it.
Thanks.
Love to hear it. Next on my list, I think another movie people forgot about. From Bong Joon-ho, I have Mickey 17, which I think was excellent. I really loved the book so much, and I was enthralled and so excited that Bong Joon-ho was going to adapt it with Robert Pattinson in the lead role as Mickey, and he's fantastic in the movie, basically playing like a dual role. And I found it to be exciting and a really solid adaptation. It's not perfect in terms of things that happen in the book, especially with the third act of the novel. If you've ever read it, it's quite different than what happens in the movie. But overall, from a filmmaking standpoint, the production design, the directing, the editing, the acting, everything is some of the best you'll see in cinema in 2025. Overall, I love the creature designs as well. I like the stakes. Bong Joon-ho always tells his films through a lens of analyzing culture and our social issues. And he does that really effectively with this movie with different characters. I like the performance Mark Ruffalo gives, despite it getting a lot of flack.
I like it too.
I think the flamboyancy of it, the overacting on purpose was part of the role. The big fake teeth, it all is a great metaphor of the average politician. And I think that was what Bong Joon-ho was going for. That was the biggest complaint I saw for the film, was people talking about Mark Ruffalo's performance. I thought it was excellent. You know, I love Mickey 17. I saw it a few times. We were so fortunate enough to be able to interview Bong Joon-ho and Robert Pattinson all the way back in, what was it, February or March? We did that in February, I think, though, because the movie came out in March.
You're
Long
right.
time ago.
Long fucking time.
I was a different person then.
Jesus.
A lot of time has passed. So we were so excited to work with the marketing team on that, and I was just really surprised and let down by the reaction. You know, not a lot of people turned out for this film, and everyone complains about no original stories getting told. It's like, this is a huge original sci-fi film based off a very popular book, and people just didn't turn up.
A lot of people thought they were expecting Parasite, and a lot of people, maybe they've seen Parasite, maybe they've seen Memories of Murder, but they've not seen Bong's other films.
True, yeah, that's a good point.
And I mean, the host, Okja, they're very similar in tone, in style, and humor. Mickey 17 was not a deviation from who he is as a filmmaker. He's always had these elements in many of his stories. It's just that people wanted another Parasite, which is not how.
Maybe it's what they expected.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I still think it's fantastic.
He's
though.
made plenty of movies that have silly moments in tones like this. You know what I mean?
I mean, Parasite has plenty of silly moments.
Look at
too.
Jake Gyllenhaal's character in Okja, even Tilda in Snowpiercer. It's as out there as Ruffalo.
Are you okay? So that's where you're connecting to. I didn't know what you meant in terms of why people were put off by it, in your opinion.
Yeah.
So the silliness,
The tone.
Yeah.
I saw people complaining. He did this after Parasite. Oh man, did you have to imagine following up Parasite with this? And it's just like, he's done silly stuff. He's done zaniness
I thought
before.
he did a great job.
Yeah.
I like that movie quite a lot.
At number 6, I have one of my favorite IMAX experiences in a long time, and that's F1, which I thought was just an absolutely pitch-perfect action film, great sports film, and an absolutely electrifying experience as an audience member. Joseph Kosinski, man, he brought us into the seats of F1 drivers, put us on those tracks, and God, I felt like I was in those races, man. It was unbelievable to behold. Brad Pitt, once again, just proving he's just the coolest guy alive. Just amazing performance of Sonny Hayes. Damson Idris, tough shoes to fill going opposite Brad, but he held his own, and I think he's a great up-and-coming actor. Can't wait to see what he has going forward in his career. The rest of the cast, the Hans Zimmer score was my most listened to thing this year.
Oh, everyone knows. Even Hans Zimmer knows.
Yeah, I was the I was 11,000th listener of Hans Zimmer in the world.
What's crazy is that someone who obsessively listens to Hans Zimmer like me, you beat the fuck out of me in your Spotify rap, and then 11,000 people beat you.
How did they beat me? I'm on to them. I'm trying this year, man.
I wonder if I guarantee some people are just streaming it all year to just get the number one spot.
There was a Taylor Swift fan who, with the numbers put together, had over 300 days worth of listening to Taylor Swift.
So I think they're just
Never
constantly
stop.
playing it to get that spot.
I do listen to other things. It's not only Hans. So yeah, I don't think I can ever get into that.
Well, you can. You just put it on. And it's not like you listen to it. You just have it in the room, in the other room while you're.
Yeah, I don't need the stat.
No, I know, but that's what I think some people do.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, I love this film. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was, for what they were going for, it was perfect. Everything about it was just exactly what I wanted, and it delivered on all the promise. And you know what? I just really had so much fun with this film. I was smiling ear to ear, and I saw it again as soon as possible.
Man, I saw it 3 times in IMAX. It'll probably be on my list, but not as low as 6. Fucking jeez. I guess you didn't even like the movie, Anthony. At number 6 for me, I have a really beautiful film that had me weeping for about 30 minutes straight, and that's Hamnet from Chloe Zhao, starring Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley, who are sensational together. This was a really beautiful film. I'm so happy I caught it in theaters before it left. It didn't play that long. It didn't make a ton of money, but I think this is definitely going to be an awards contender. And I'd be surprised if Jessie Buckley does not win Best Lead Actress, because she is that good in this movie. She is such a force. Paul Mescal as well. And it's a beautiful film. It's theatrical to an extent, But what I loved about it was it's not in your face. Hey, this is William Shakespeare. It's so everyone knows what the movie is, though. Hamlet's based on Hamlet, the death of William Shakespeare and Anya's his wife's son who died. And it's a movie you go in knowing that the kid's gonna die at some point. But when it happens, it still strikes you as shock. And the grief you felt as an audience viewer was immense. I was torn to pieces by it.
To bits.
And I think that's a testament to Chloe's directing, which is stellar in this movie. It's, I like Nomadland, and I was not huge on The Eternals, but I think this movie is just a tour de force of directing, and she's really a remarkable filmmaker, and it's such a strong film. And I think she got great performances out of her leads, as well as the time period setting. It felt so authentic. It felt real. It felt like I was transported into this past world. And I loved it. I was still thinking about it for weeks after I saw it. And I gotta say, like it was in my top 5 for a little while, but when I was making the list, I was, tinkering around because I saw Marty Supreme as well. But it's a really special movie, and I can definitely see Jessie Buckley winning. And I wouldn't be surprised Chloe Zhao nominated for directing probably should happen. But you guys got to see it. If you haven't seen it yet, Anthony, you got to watch it as soon as you can. It is really terrific. If you saw Hamlet, you know why. But the third act is so powerful. One of the best third acts of the year.
Okay. Can't wait to see it. I'll see it ASAP.
ASAP.
All right, at number 5, I have Marty Supreme from Josh Safdie, which was nothing short of just sensational, electrifying, so fun, hilarious, dramatic, so visually stunning. It was just an absolute blast from start to finish. I was locked in. It was a long film, but it felt short. And I loved the world building. I loved Chalamet's performance. I loved all the actors and their performances. It's a great cast. He really hit a home run with this film. I think Josh, as a director, is so exciting, and it was great to see him work on a big scale with a lot of money and seeing what he can come up with as a filmmaker and visual storyteller. Chalamet, an incredible role. It's between him and Leo for best lead actor. That's it. It's gonna be either one of them. And the music was so fun. The visual effects were really fantastic. Lighting was great. I loved everything about the film. It was a great experience.
Well, F1 and Marty out of your top 5. Well, Marty's 5.
My
sorry.
5.
I'm
sorry. You're so sad about my top 10.
I'm just so curious. I'm just surprised. I'm so curious what your top 4 are now. But
Fantastic Four.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
My number 5 on the year is going to be the latest film from Ryan Coogler, Sinners. And in case you notice while I'm talking right now, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, there's an incredible Sinners poster over my shoulder provided to us by our great friends at movieposters.com. Use our code Raiders10 at checkout today to get 10% off your entire order at movieposters.com, and use the affiliate link in the podcast episode description so they know that you got to the website because of us, and that'll get us a commission of your purchase. Movieposters.com. Go there. Let's get back to Sinners. One of the best movies of the year, hands down. Shot on beautiful 65mm IMAX film, in addition to being shot as well on Panavision.
Yeah.
Panavision Super Wide, which was the first time those two formats were ever used to make a movie together, which is really interesting. And I thought it was visually stunning, and it was a great choice to do because the IMAX super large format offers incredible visuals with massive landscapes, really cool shocking sequences, especially action spectacles and sequences like that, or even just close-ups. But there's something about super wide that also brings an intimacy to specific sequences of any movie, especially characters. And I think that Coogler knows when to use those formats best. Of course, you're limited with sound until the Odyssey will be the first film that's shot an IMAX 65mm film. First movie of all time shot entirely with that format. But Sinners, great job blending both formats as well as having fun with the aspect ratio shifts. It was just a remarkable movie full of so much culture. Transportation to the past was unlike anything besides Marty Supreme, I would say, this year. Train Dreams. I think those are the 3 best movies in terms of transportation, and Hamnet of the past, and period pieces. But it was so fun. And Michael B. Jordan was such a standout, playing dual roles as identical twins. And there was so much style and fun atmosphere in this film. I love the vampire quality and having unique vampires, which we've never seen before, with these vampires from Ireland, and blending Irish culture with black culture and connecting them was so interesting and unique, and I've never seen that done before in a story, and it made so much sense. The music was fantastic. Ludwig transported us with his music just as much as the visuals did, and the characters and the acting and the story. Ludwig could probably win Best Composer, I think, this year again. I wouldn't be surprised. Best Original Song, I think this is going to win. Yeah. It has 2 It's going to be nominated for 2 Best Original Songs, so I can see Sinners winning. Cinematography is astounding. Everything about this movie was sensational.
Great pick. At number 4, I have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Seeing it in theaters on 35mm film at the Egyptian in LA was a wonderful time. It was absolutely mind-blowing. I thought it was so well done, beautifully crafted. The splats music, the performances. Oscar Isaac was great. Elordi blew me away. I was so impressed by him, and now I'm just like, I'm on the Elordi train, and I was just like, he was so good in an unexpected way. I think he's a sleeper for Best Supporting Actor. Possible sleeper win for him.
I don't know. He's going to have to be resurrected with lightning to win Best Supporting Actor, I think.
Why?
No, I wouldn't say he's a... I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even get nominated. I think he's really good in it.
Got nominated for a Globe. Got nominated. He's my sleeper pick.
It's a good sleeper, yeah.
Sleeper
but
pick.
That's what I mean. I was making a reference to Frankenstein.
Yeah. Also, that was a good reference. I think they're pushing Paul Mescal as supporting actor for Hamnet.
Probably, yeah.
So if he doesn't get in the lead category, I think that
I wouldn't put him as lead actor in that movie.
Okay.
It's very much Anya's movie. He's in quite a lot of it, but she's the lead.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think those are 2 guys will be competing for sure. But he's sensational, and I mean the craftsmanship of this movie is like unparalleled. The costuming, the production design, the cinematography, incredible visual effects. This movie is gigantic, and it's got generally mixed reviews, but I gotta say this is a movie you have to see on the big screen to really fully grasp what was done. And what I saw was unbelievable filmmaking, and what a lot of people's reactions were at home, where it doesn't look that good. But I was just like, this looks fantastic. It was really wonderful. I liked most of the changes that Guillermo made from the novel. It's a really crazy book and story. This is pretty close in line with what happens in the novel. I loved everything about the film, and it was really moving as well. Great gore, great scares. But also just a film about, it's a father and son story too, and I was really deeply moved by it. Loved the film, loved it.
It was quite good.
Yeah.
It was really one of Guillermo's best, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe top 5 in his career, maybe top 3. I really enjoyed Frankenstein.
Maybe top 1.
It didn't make... No, there's no way he's beating Pans. Didn't make my top 10, though. But what did, and it probably is on everyone's top 10 list, what I think is probably going to win Best Picture at every awards ceremony this year... Number 4 on my list is One Battle After Another from Paul Thomas Anderson. An absolute epic in filmmaking and acting and writing. Tour de force performances from so many great actors. Leo DiCaprio, I think the front runner for Best Lead Actor besides Timothée Chalamet. I think it'd go either way with him. I think you're right. It's them 2 contending for that award. And Leo is sensational in everything he's ever done. And he brings it every time. And he, I think, sells... world building more than any production design, any wardrobe can possibly do. I think Leo, that's how good he is. He sells you on every world he's in. PTA was working on this movie for a long time. I think it's sensational, but I don't put it in a top 3 Paul Thomas Anderson in his career. Maybe not even top 5. I think it's really, really freaking good. But we're talking about an all-time director. But I understand why people are gravitating to it so much, because I think a lot of people haven't seen his full filmography.
Oh, definitely not.
And I think that's why people are so like, oh man, Paul Thomas Anderson.
They're like, I've never seen a movie like this before. It's
like, where have you been? He's been making movies like this his whole career. It's obviously his most political movie. He doesn't really do politics that often, but I think it was very timely, and obviously it's resonating with this country so much in the world in general. So I think it's an important film. And I gotta say, man, if Sean Penn doesn't win Best Supporting Actor, that's
he's
what I
the
mean.
front runner. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
He's the front runner.
Like, there's no way
Yeah.
that guy doesn't win. He's
Yeah.
so amazing in this movie as Lockjaw. Chase Infinity, we really saw the birth of a superstar in the making right here with her in her first film. Tiana Taylor's terrific. I think just the cast just delivered so well. Benicio is so fun and one of the most memed movie characters of the year, I think, besides Bob, played by Leo.
Just a few beers.
A few small beers. Benicio is just a beloved character in this movie. So I think it's just sensational. It's batshit crazy. Great sequences. One of the coolest car chases you'll ever see. And I just loved it.
For number 3, I have Ryan Coogler's Sinners. There's a lot of horror movies on my list. It's because I love horror. And this was just an absolute masterclass in filmmaking from every front. And I love vampire movies. There aren't, ironically for a genre I love, there aren't that many like really, really good vampire movies. This is the new really great one. And the cinematography was just stunning. One of the best looking films of the year. I was so blown away by Michael B. Jordan. I think his performance was outstanding as both of these characters. And then the music was sensational. It was a movie that just like when it started, you know you're in good hands with Coogler. It was great to see him working on something original, working on something this exciting. I loved every bit of it. It has one of the best shots of the year, one of the best moments of the year. Excellent film villain. I think Remick is going to be a really great villain that people talk about in the vampire genre for a long time. In a genre that's filled with just kind of archetype villains for the most part. He was really specific and really unique. And again, like all of his movies, Coogler instilling so much great culture into his storytelling. I think that it was really a standout in the horror genre and just a wonderful piece of work.
Number 3.
I think we both have the same number 2, by the way.
Probably. Number 3 for me is F1. Yeah, we don't need that. Can I talk about the movie? I don't want the backdrop of your terrible impression of Hans Zimmer. I fucking loved F1. It's one of my favorite new posters that we have. I have it hung up in a massive frame in the house. Had it on the backdrop in the light box for a while on the show. I just loved everything about it. I think Joseph Kosinski is the best action filmmaker right now.
Yeah, you could say that.
He's absolutely incredible. No one makes movies like him, and just the feat of directing on F1 is a logistical nightmare. I don't know how the fuck they pulled this movie off. It's incredible what they did in terms of developing new tech to put small, tiny digital IMAX cameras inside the cockpit of the F1 cars, put them around them. I got to actually sit inside one of the F1 cars that they used. We know the guy who built the cars, and so that was so fun to actually sit in it with that perspective of like, wow, they put 8 cameras on this thing. It's insane. But the production value of this movie is just off the charts. And it's so cool to think that Apple's like, yeah, blank check, whatever you want to do, Joseph. Just do something really cool.
And it worked out for them.
And you know what? I love that it's a blueprint of Days of Thunder. I love that it has such a similar feel and vibe to Top Gun Maverick. I love that it is just kind of a blueprint cliche story. I love something about an underdog, an athlete or a star or someone who never reached their full potential, but they get one last shot. They finally get to prove themselves. We've seen that 1,000 times, but I fucking love it.
When it works, it works.
It worked so well in F1. And it's the same thing with Top Gun Maverick. So many goddamn studios will redo something or take an IP and make a legacy sequel, and they'll destroy the characters we love. They'll destroy what we loved about the original ones and have some new young hot star come in, be the hero, take everything over, take the mantle, tell you the old man how much of an idiot he is. But no, just like Top Gun Maverick, F1, Sonny Hayes is the hero. Sonny Hayes finally achieves his goal in his life dream of winning an F1 race and winning the cup. And man, it was so satisfying. It was so fun. The most entertaining film of the year. Fist pumping my way through this goddamn movie. The cast are amazing outside of Brad Pitt, too. Carrie Condon's on this list twice with this and Train Dreams. She's fantastic in every supporting role she has on this list. And, you know, I think this movie just has so much juice, so much traction, and so much speed.
It was such a big deal that Apple. I mean, I was at Target last week, and there were F1 DVDs for sale.
Oh my god! I gotta get
an
the Blu-ray.
Apple movie.
I gotta get the 4K.
They made physical for this because it was so big.
And Javier Bardem, one of his coolest roles ever.
Yeah, he got to really put on the charisma and charm that you saw in like Vicky Cristina, Barcelona, and he was just so cool in this movie. Loved it. I loved every second of it. Something else I loved every second of is my number 2 pick, which is really going to be our number 2 pick collectively because I know we both have the same 2. I don't even have to look at your list.
I think you just peeked at my
I didn't.
list.
I didn't. Begonia.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Yeah. Yorgos Lanthimos just fucking crushed it. It was so well made, so incredibly acted. I love the film. It was really one of the funnest experiences this year, especially the third act and the climax. It was unpredictable. It was silly. It was absurd. But it was also intense, and it got very dramatic and very dark and grim. I loved all of the characters. I loved the moments of surrealism. And then I just really loved the ending. This is a movie where I was just like, I wanted to just stand up screaming, "Let's go," for the last 10 minutes. It was just so fun. Maybe we shouldn't spoil the ending because I know not everybody's seen this. This wasn't a widely seen film. But I will say just the third act, it exceeded my expectations. It hit all the right notes and surprised in the best ways possible. And I really just enjoyed it thoroughly. It was great.
I think Begonia has one of the most satisfying endings I've seen in years. An incredible third act. Jesse Plemons is so amazing in this movie. We all know he's such a great actor, but I think this is hands down his best performance. Emma Stone's always fantastic in everything she's in as well, and she really brings it here. She's great at creating so many unique characters in her illustrious career. Mm-hmm. Under 40, already has 2 Oscar wins. I mean, she could win a third. Who knows? But I think Jesse it's the most underrated performance of 2025, Jesse Plemons here.
Yeah.
Probably won't get any accolades, unfortunately. I doubt he gets any nominations.
He will get nominated.
He's really low on lists right now for predictions.
Really?
Yeah, he's like not even in the top 10.
Wow.
For everything.
It's because, not many people saw this movie.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, not many people saw it.
Jesse's fantastic. I think this is Yorgos' best movie. I think it's his best screenplay, and I think it's his best directing, which is interesting because he's going to take a break because he's been so busy. And I've seen almost all of his movies, and I think it's just that good. I think it's so clever. It's such a great critique of culture, of capitalism, of our world. It's a great satire on not just the everyday person, but the way we perceive people who are different than us, like a conspiracy theorist. Whereas, what happens if the conspiracy theorist is actually right?
Dun, dun, dun.
What happens if that's true? And it's a great back and forth of, is she an alien? Is she not an alien? Is she an alien? Is she not an alien? Oh, she might be one. Wait, I don't think she is. And he keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole film. And we won't spoil it, like Anthony said, because who knows how many people haven't seen this movie in terms of listening to this episode right now. But you got to watch it ASAP. It's terrific. It's absurd. It's so sharp and witty. It's very funny, too. It's one of the funniest movies of the year. Great allegory and great motifs with the honeybees and honey.
Have you heard about the bees?
And I think that, it was just a typical Yorgos movie in terms of the style of the movie. I missed in terms of like one story with his old style. Like Poor Things was just so fantastical and massive in scale. That's unlike anything he's ever done before. But this went back to like The Killing of a Sacred Deer. And it went back to The Lobster, of one one crazy outlandish idea explored through one film, versus his last film was an anthology. And I think that's where he works best as a filmmaker.
Well said, man. Well said. It's time for the number 1 picks, ladies and gentlemen. For mine.
2025. Do you have any honorable mentions before you say that?
I do have some honorable
like
mentions.
What?
I really liked Roofman.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Sorry Baby. What else did I like?
What else have you seen this year?
Let me pull up my letterbox.
Yeah, pull up the letterbox, bro. Because it's still fun to give shout outs to movies that...
Yeah, let's just shout out films we liked.
Let me pull up my letterbox as well. Because I'm trying to remember. It's so fun when you get to the end of the year and you're like, wait, what came out this year?
I really
The
like
Baltimoreans, I think, was really sweet. I like that movie a lot. I will say I was disappointed by a few movies. I think The Running Man was a movie that I was greatly disappointed by.
Yeah.
Because that was a movie that I was
too.
really hyped about, but just didn't do it for me.
I really liked Die My Love from Lynn Ramsey. I really liked Black Bag from Soderbergh. I really liked Nouvelle Vague from Richard Linklater. I thought that was really tremendous. Wake Up Dead Man was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was good. And
Christie, I'm telling you, Christie was fantastic, guys. You got to watch it.
I like Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I had a really good time with that movie.
Isn't it? Yeah, but it's still, for us to not put a Mission Impossible movie in our top 10 of the year, that's pretty rare, I think.
Pretty indicative. And I saw this movie that has not been released in America, but I saw it called Bad Apple starring Saoirse Ronan. And whenever it does get a release in America, because I watched it at a film festival, this movie was fucking awesome. It was really great. It's played at festivals, but it's not yet landed a theatrical release yet in America for distribution. But keep an eye out for Bad Apples, starring Saoirse. It was really, really good. It was so great. And then my biggest sleeper of the year, I really liked The Gorge.
The Gorge was fun.
The Gorge was fun.
You know what else was really good? I think was a sleeper. Last Breath.
Last Breath was awesome.
Last Breath was excellent.
What was your biggest disappointment of the year?
It was probably The Running Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Edgar had such a great run early in his career. He's still a sensational filmmaker. But I was not huge on Last Night in Soho, and I thought that The Running Man would be a great bounce-back movie for him. Biggest film he's ever made. Great idea and cool IP. Something that deserved a remake. But it just really left me very disappointed and wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think The Running Man was probably my biggest disappointment of the year.
My biggest disappointment of the year was A Ballad of a Small Player, which I had really big expectations for. Love the director, love the actor, love the concept and the location, and the trailer was awesome, and it looked so fantastic. And then 20 minutes into the movie, I was like, "Is this it?"
Same.
So A Ballad of a Small Player was a movie that it really was so underwhelming for the potential that it had and the expectations I had for it.
I was disappointed by The Accountant too as well.
Yeah, it didn't live up
I
to
was
it.
disappointed by it
Yeah.
because I liked the first one quite a lot, but the story for the second one just didn't really hit.
Yeah, it
Didn't really hit.
It was convoluted.
I will say Conjuring Last Rites was also a really good one this year.
I liked it. There were some good films. Like I said, there's some great films.
Quite a
this year.
few good films
Yeah.
this year. All right. I think it's time to
Oh, yeah.
reveal your number one, then my number one. Take it away.
One battle after another. My guy, PTA. Finally, everybody on social media knows who this guy is and what his movies are.
Outside of There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, and how great of a filmmaker he is. And, hopefully this movie gets you to watch things like The Master or Inherent Vice or Boogie Nights. And obviously, I think most people have seen There Will Be Blood. I hope everybody's seen that. He's just really one of the greats. He's one of the masters. There's nothing like a PTA movie. You never know what you're going to get from one of his films when you walk into it. There's no way to predict how things are going to go. And this film is a movie that you just have to let it unfold because you have no idea what's going to be happening, where it's going. And it's a movie that you just let take you away. And the cast was amazing. The filmmaking was so great. It was so amazing to see PTA work on such a big scale, a grand scale. He made the greatest action sequence of the year and maybe the best action sequence in many years with the final, with the hilly road.
I strongly disagree with that.
Well,
The best action sequence in years?
possibly. I said possibly. What would you put over it?
What? The race in F1, every race in F1.
I would say that what PTA did with his car chase was better than the car chases in F1 and the storytelling.
But but One Battle After Another, it's great sequence. It's not really even much of a car chase though.
I guess so.
Well, but no, you said action sequence.
Yeah, it was a great action sequence. I think it's action.
In years?
I said it possibly of several years. Yeah.
I mean, hey, your opinion's
how I
your
feel.
opinion, but man,
I've never seen anything like it.
I know I've never seen anything like it as
I've
well.
never seen anything like that before in my life. My jaw dropped.
It was great, but
Yeah.
but that's not even an action sequence.
Kind of is. Car chase is action.
You're telling me even just talk about movies this year.
Uh-huh.
Mission Impossible underwater submarine sequence. One battle after another. Car chase is better than that.
Let me rephrase this. It was the most visually interesting action sequence I've seen in years.
Is that better? I'll take that's way better.
Okay,
because you're a fucking high as a kite, bro.
It was visually, it was the most original and creative action scene I'd seen in years.
I will say it was very visually stunning, and for car chases, it was insanely unique and exquisitely shot, and one of my favorite shots of the year and sequences of the year in general.
Yeah.
But when it comes to action sequences, I mean, Ballerina had better action sequences, I think.
Okay, I worded it incorrectly.
That's
how
why
I
I'm coming after you.
That's why I meant it.
I didn't mean to come after you, but
No, come after me, man. I don't care.
I'm like, shit, did you watch F1?
But I think this is a deserved frontrunner for most categories, and he's such a great, unique storyteller, and amazing performances all around. I loved every second of it, and Sean Penn as a villain that is, oh my god! In a year of good movie villains, he still stands out as the apex of it all.
I agree.
It's just a movie that was just wildly entertaining and crazy and bonkers and so much fun.
Speaking of crazy, bonkers, and so much fun, let's get into my number one of the year. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Marty fucking Supreme, baby. As soon as I walked out of that theater, no, as soon as it ended, number one on the year for me, absolutely sensational. Timothy Chalamet, what a fucking force. Incredible. I like the level of acting that he has put on already in his career is just sensational. But then to see him at such a young age take it to a new level is just astounding. Not many people in their entire careers can do that level of acting, especially someone under 30.
He's 30
He's
now.
30 now. He's 30. He just turned 30. Yeah. So he did it when he was under 30.
Yeah, he did it when he was 30.
So yeah, I am right. I just loved everything about this movie. It was the most transported I felt into cinema, into a different world this year. I saw it in 70 millimeter, which was absolutely gorgeous. I saw Sinners in 70 mil, and I saw One Battle After Another in 70 mil, and this one looked the best, I think. Cinematography was fantastic. Production design. We have an episode breaking this down that we did on Tuesday, so just if you want to hear more detailed analysis of Marty Supreme, go check that out. But the cast was excellent. Josh Safdie, I think, has the fucking juice. This was so good. It's so well directed and executed and so impressive. I love Uncut Gems. I love Good Time. And this is his first solo movie outside of directing with Benny, outside of documentaries. And he really, really delivered and proved himself as one of the best right now. Wardrobe, everything about the music. I love taking a time period of the 1950s and putting 80s music in it. It was so fun and original and new, and it added something new because there's so many period pieces all the time. But how do you make yours stand out and give it a different vibe, especially with today's world? And I think it was clever to take music that is still newer compared to the time period it's set, but use that as the backdrop of your movie to connect younger audiences to it in a different way. I thought it was so clever, and it fit the tone of the film. And Marty is such an asshole. He's so arrogant and prideful, but man, I could not take my eyes off the character, and I loved it. I love the chaos. I love the energy. I love the pacing, the energy, the crazy stakes, the way he gets in his own way. And I love the climax. It's so impressive, and I just loved every second of it. And of all the movies that came out this year, this is the movie that I didn't want to end.
Aw, he fucking loved it, guys.
Loved it, man.
Oh, nice.
I cannot wait to see it again. I've been too busy to see it again, but I'm going to try this weekend.
Fuck yeah, man. It's great stuff. It was a good year.
It was a great year for film.
It's a good year.
Next year's going to be absurd.
It's going to be a wild
Next year's
summer.
going to be absolutely absurd. So many new releases coming up. But that wraps our top 10 movies each of 2025. Let us know in the comments what your top 10 were. Leave a comment on the YouTube video of this or on Spotify. We'd love to read what you think were the top 10 movies of the year. Get ready for another year of fantastic episodes. Hope you had a great new year this past week. We're excited for 2026. Lots to come. So many big movies. So many big things to talk about. In the meantime, take care, everybody.
See you next time.